Greg, welcome to the show.
Hey, Michael, thanks for having me, man. It's good to be here. I know this is episode number one for you, and you're a little bit nervous, a little jittery, but hey, it's just you and me talking. We're getting your first episode out there. Congratulations, man. How does it feel?
It feels good, despite all of the nervousness. It does feel good. I appreciate it. You always encouraging me.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
won't let me back off.
yeah, exactly, man. You got to get it out there, and a lot of people with the first episode, they get a little nervous about it, a little worried about it, but it's just people having conversations, sharing their experiences, and putting that out there for the world to enjoy and take in.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, speaking of that, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So, I'm an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, real estate investor and developer. I've been at it for 30 years, since 1997. That's when I started my first real company. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and from that, what I got was you want to build businesses that generate cash flow so you can invest in other assets. So that's what I did. And I started building companies. My first company just happened to be a remodeling handyman company. Built that up into a $30 million business. And I built 12 other service-based companies along the way. During that time frame, built them up. Some of them I sold off. Some of them, I sold them to the partners that I built those with, and built them all through other people, coaching and mentoring them. And then what I would do is I would take the profits and I would reinvest those into real estate along the way. And started out flipping land, and I started building spec houses, and I started doing commercial and land development projects, subdivisions, mixed use, things like that. So that's kind of how the business evolved over the years. And the cool part is I started with absolutely nothing. I didn't go to college, went in the Navy right out of high school, educated myself, learned from others by working for other people that were successful investors and developers and successful in their careers. So I learned from them by doing for them, and then ultimately doing deals with other people, kind of like the process you're going through.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot like the process that I'm going through. So you've never done any, you didn't go to college. Have you had any like formal mentors or anyone that coached you along the way?
Yeah, not like a formal capacity like now, because that like wasn't even a thing back then.
Hmm.
But what I did was I learned a number of ways. One, I learned from people that were working for me. So, professionals, architects, engineers, subcontractors, I learned from them. And then I learned from the people that I hired. So I'd never built a house before when I started a house building company and I built my first spec house. So what I did was I went and hired the best people I could find in the area that were doing what I wanted to do and had been doing it for 20 years before I ever got there. So I recruited them to come to work for me and build this company. And I learned from them. And all of the people that I partnered with in the other businesses that I either started or bought were, they were professionals. It's a plumbing company, pool spa landscaping company, hurricane shutter company. I had people that were experts in those fields that were doing that business. And I just kind of brought the business and mindset aspect to it and kind of coached them. And I had people that worked for me that were employees that were much more experienced than me, had much more knowledge than me. And that's where I really learned the value of mentors, the value of masterminds. I'd read about it in Think and Grow Rich. I read about it in other books, but until you're in it and experiencing it, that's when the true value of coaching, mentorship, and masterminds really comes out. It's all about paying for access, paying for speed, the collective wisdom of the group that really exponentially, takes you exponentially to the next level in growth. So, that's how I learned.
Yeah, it's like it fast tracks, the learning process for you. Tell me about some of the challenges, even with, growing the companies or joining with the existing business owners. Were there any challenges associated with that part of it?
Yeah. So for me, I didn't know what I didn't know. So the biggest challenges I faced were initially early on. I didn't know how to raise capital. I didn't have credit. I didn't have any kind of business history. So I couldn't get any money from banks or anything like that. So starting out early on, I financed the growth of my company through credit cards, and very expensive lines of credit like that. And, you couldn't get the business lines of credit back then like you can now. Those types of things weren't out there. So it was mostly credit cards and then taking all the profits from the business and reinvesting. And, that's how I grew the business. So those were the biggest challenges, were just kind of building that financial and business track record so that I could fund my deals as I went forward. Because most of the deals I did over the years, I just funded with my own cash flow from all the businesses. So I ended up doing about $250 million, with my own funding, my own deals, my own getting loans from the bank myself. And then I'd partner on some deals with other investors along the way. But like I said, I didn't know how to raise capital. That just wasn't a thing in my world back then, that I could have exponentially done, a whole lot more if I'd have known how to do that. So, those were some of the challenges, that I faced early on with, trying to grow and scale my business and do, big real estate development deals and, knowledge, man. It's all about what you know.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. And I think that is the part that only comes with experience. So I want to ask, what have you found your purpose, or how would you define your purpose?
Yeah. So for me, my purpose is, helping and impacting others. What I've been my entire career in all of my companies, all of my businesses, and even before that, like I said, I joined the Navy right out of high school. And even before that, I've always been kind of a leader. I've always been a natural born entrepreneur, a creator. So, I was taught very early on by my dad, if I wanted something, I needed to go figure out a way to pay for it, figure out a way to get it. So I'd go knock on your door. Hey, Michael, this is Greg. I live down the street. I need to make some money. Yeah, I'll do anything. I'll cut your grass. I'll wash your car. I'll walk your dog, babysit your kids, whatever you need, I'll do it. And, so I learned early on that's what you have to do. If you want something in this world, you need to figure out a way to get it. Don't rely on somebody else to give it to you. And then, along the way in sports, whatever, I was always a, captain, leader of the team, that type of thing. And then when I joined the military, I was immediately put in a leadership role, never asked for it. I was just always identified as a natural leader. And, my dad was an officer in the military, but he worked his way up. He went in and enlisted and became an officer, which you call being frocked, and became a warrant officer, which is a very, highly respected rank in the military because you work your way up from the bottom. I mean, he was a grunt laborer when he went in the Navy and came out, a highly respected officer. So, he kind of taught me those lessons over the years. And that's what I started out really, a grunt worker in the construction industry, built my way up through it. And, kind of learned the hard way, by doing, kind of got off track, forgot what the question was.
Yeah, purpose.
Purpose,
Defining your
that's
purpose,
it.
which
Yeah.
was
So,
helping people.
yeah,
What you're
yeah.
doing now, coaching,
Right.
mentoring, what you've done for me.
So exactly. So that's what I realized, and was fortunate enough to realize is that, I'm a natural born leader, coach, mentor. I was put on this planet to encourage other people, inspire other people, help other people identify what they were put on this earth for. And if I can impact you, if I can encourage and inspire you to go after your dreams and show you, we'll talk about your story in a second because you've got a phenomenal story. But if I can do that for you, what can you do? What kind of impact can you make on the world? So that's what excites me. And it always has. Hey, deals are great, building businesses are great, making money is great. But what always tickled me, what always filled me more than anything else was watching other people grow, watching the light bulb go off in people, and for people to reach, their goals and their dreams and impact their world in their own way. And that's what excites me. And I'm working with people all around the world right now through, courses and mastermind that I have and coaching programs. And, watching you take this project that you're doing from absolutely nothing, where you came from, and, and start bringing a $30 million multifamily building out of the ground, that's just, to me, that's more exciting than any business or any deal I could ever do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really do. And I tell you, I mean, you've been very, very helpful along the way, just continuing to encourage, just the nuggets that you drop. And I've noticed that, sometimes some of the things that you tell me are way ahead. I don't experience them until later, but I can always draw from that. I remember you will speak on something, I'll go through my notes, and you told me about it 3-4 months ago. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that having the right coach, mentor is just it's the really the only way. I think the only way, even with going to college, doing all of those things, with the right coach and mentor, it can really take you to another level. So what is the name of your coaching program, your mentoring program? I know you are expanding on that a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So Dickerson International or gregdickerson.com is where all my info is. And yeah, I've got, online courses for people that are very affordable and accessible on all kinds of topics. I've got the mastermind that I've just launched for people all around the world to kind of come together, share their experiences, find support, encouragement, help each other do deals, get deals done. That's going to be a mastermind that's virtual, and I'll be leading live weekly sessions with that. So that's really cool. And then I have the one-on-one coaching program, which, you're a client in that. And I've got people, all around the world that are in that will all be part of this mastermind. So I'm really excited about that, bringing people together from all around the world with all kinds of backgrounds, doing all kinds of different things, to really, it's that wisdom of the group. And it's really about relationships, right?
Hmm.
Relationships are the most important thing in life and in business. And, it's creating those lifelong relationships that can really change the trajectory of your life and your business instantly. One idea, one connection is all it takes to completely transform your life and business. I see it every single day in everybody I work with. And that, going back to purpose, I mean, that's what's just really inspiring and exciting about, doing everything that I do and everything that we're doing.
I'm excited about it. I'm happy to be a part of it. The mastermind part of it is something that allows me to learn from others, but also, hopefully share some of the information that I know and some of the things that you've taught me. It's just energy is created there. So
Yeah, awesome. Well,
yeah,
Michael, I appreciate you having me on today and, letting me share my story. And, I'm excited to see your project, come out of the ground. And, I guess we're going to record an episode next and talk about your project a little bit.
yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you coming and sharing a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.